Hi everyone, welcome to my kitchen. For those of you that don't know me, my name's Janice and I'm a Thermomix consultant. So, I don't think I've done this one before. I had a bit of a look and I couldn't see it, but we're having pizza for tea tonight. And I've pulled out all my frozen grated cheese and I've only got the tiniest bit of mozzarella. So I thought it would be something fun to do and make some homemade mozzarella. Now, I love homemade mozzarella. And I've got a recipe that I have created in my Cookie Do app in created recipes. So when we want to find our created recipe, so how I did it is I've since worked out that you can type the entire recipe in. You don't actually have to import someone. You can just create a recipe from scratch in Cookie Do. But at the time that I did this, I imported a recipe and then edited it to what I wanted. But anyway, we're going to find it. So you go to your three little menu bars here. You go to My Recipes. Then we've got in here, it says Bookmarks, Created Recipes, Created Collections, and Saved Collections. So your bookmarks are all the recipes that you have when you're browsing Cookie Do. There's a little flag you can tap and it'll turn the flag green, and then that recipe will be found in your bookmarks. Then we've got created recipes. So these are recipes that you have either imported from the recipe community or you have created yourself in the Cookie Do app. Now you are able to share your own created recipes with other people. Before you could share, like you just share the recipe with your friends, share the recipe on Facebook, something in, and then they have to go to the Cookie Do app to read it. But you can share the link to it. When that's how I do when I share the link beneath the video. That's how I do it. So then when you follow that link, it'll take you to your Cookie Do app, and if you're not logged in, you'll have to log in. And if you don't have a Cookie Do subscription, you won't be able to read it. So now you can share a created recipe. So I'm going to have a go and see if I can put a link to this recipe down below. If I can't, it won't be there. But I'm going to have a go. So then we've got created collections. So that's like you can make a collection. You can say basics, call it basics, and then you can add in boiled rice, boiled pasta, butter, pizza sauce, all those, brown sugar, all those you can save all those recipes in your created collections. And then you've got saved collections. So that means if you find a recipe book that you like on Cookie Do, you can save that collection to Cookie Do. And that means those recipes should be available to you if you are not logged in, if you don't have internet connection. So if you're going somewhere, say in your caravan, and you're taking your Thermomix, and there's going to be patchy spots, you can save the collections and those recipes will be available to you offline. So anyway, that's a little bit of information, but this is a created recipe. So I'm going to select created recipe, and then I'm going to go, and here it is here. And then it's the same, we can scroll down, we can have a read of what we're doing, but I am going to start cooking. Oops. Okay, so it says enjoy cooking your own recipe creation. And it says this recipe is not an official Vorwerk recipe. Please follow the general safety instructions and carefully monitor the cooking procedures to avoid injury. So, and now to go on, there's a little, instead of having next, there's a little green arrow here. and we do that. So it's going to go step by step. So first up, we'll have a look, and that is empty. So we want 2 litres of full fat milk. Right. Next, we've got to dissolve 1 teaspoon of citric acid, which I've got here, into some cold water. Now I've just got a little bit until it is clear. So there's no cloudiness at all. So that's all dissolved. And then we're going to add that to the milk. And we're going to mix that on 3 seconds, speed 2. So if we go down here, the little green, I've got a fingerprint there. So we've got the little green button down here, and that's the blade. So you click on that and it will say 3 seconds and then speed 2. And once we've done that, we close out to continue, right? And now, what did I do there? Yes. So now we're going to heat the milk. 10 minutes, 37 degrees, speed 1. So we're going to click on the little blades again, and it should be set up. 10 minutes, 37 degrees, speed 1. So, and that's all in the setup. When you're setting up your created recipe, you can actually, like, there's links where you can link to the ingredient that's in your ingredients list, and it will, then it'll set up the scales, and then also with your speed, with your time, speed and temperature, you can also link that, so it allocates the correct information into your recipe. Right, I'll be back in 10 minutes and we will keep going. Okay, so now we're going to go next. So when the milk has reached temperature, add in the rennet. So this is our rennet. So we've just got a single rennet tablet, and I've got it in cold water. It was in warm water, sorry. No, you can't even see it. It was in warm water, and I've dissolved it. So I'm going to give that a bit more of a stir. And then we're going to add it through the hole in the lid. Now you've got to be careful with your rennet that you don't add it to the water that you add it to is not too hot. Otherwise you wreck the rennet. So and yeah, the water you dissolve it in is not too hot, and also the milk you add it to is not too hot. So 37 degrees is your magic number. Okay, now what I've done is this is my thermoserver, and I've had that full of hot water, and I've just emptied it and dried it up. And we're going to, it says to add it through a hole in the lid. I don't know why, but anyway, let's do that. Okay. 3 seconds, speed 3. Okay. Next, once the mixture is stirred, carefully pour it into a warm thermoserver and leave to sit for 20 minutes. So this is actually a pretty low, It doesn't take much of your time. So I need a spatula. Right? And we're going to leave that to sit for 20 minutes. So we'll use our timer and we'll set that for 20 minutes. And then I'll take the opportunity to clean this bowl up and I'll be back. So that's our first 20 minutes up. And so now what we've got to do now is we're going to cut this into, I'll bring it over. We've got to cut this into a pattern, a grid pattern of 3 centimetre squares. So I'll do this first. And I'll bring this up to show you. Don't know if you can see that. Okay. Now we're going to put the lid back on and leave it to rest for another 10 minutes. And then we're going, anyway, so then once we've done that, we're going to put it all back into the Thermomix bowl. So I will be back in 10 minutes. So I'll go to, oh hang on, I don't know what I'm doing. I've just closed out of my recipe, rightio. 10 minutes. And I'll be back. Okay, so that's our 10 minutes. I am going to leave that for a bit more because I'd like to see those curds separate out a bit. So we're going to put that lid back on and I'm going to give it another 10 minutes. You want a bit of a gap between the squares. So I will be back in another 10 minutes. Rightio. Okay. So if you can see now they're definitely defined separation in between those cubes. Okay. So now what we're going to do is we're going to use a large spoon to move the curds and whey back into the Thermomix bowl. So we want to try and keep those curds whole. They will break up a bit. So the top, these ones are quite, they're broken up and they've sort of crumbled up a bit, so. Okay, now we're going to pop that back on. and we're going to heat that for 45 minutes, 37 degrees, the slow speed. So we're going to go to our little blades, 45 minutes, 37 degrees on the slower speed. And off we go again. So even though this recipe is lengthy, there's not a lot of hands-on. The Thermomix is actually doing most of the work for me. So I'll be back in 3/4 of an hour, and we will move on to the next step. Okay, so up to the next step. So it says to line a sieve. So I've got the simmering basket, and I've got it lined with some cheesecloth. They say with dampened cheesecloth. Oh, righty, I'll dampen this. Hang on. Righto. Let's just pretend I was organised. Dampen cheesecloth. And strain the contents of the Thermomix bowl. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to pour it in here. And I'll show you what I'm going to do in a minute. Hang on. Okay. So we're going to pour this. Oh, let's go the other way. Whoops. So I wonder if this is going to be big enough. So what we've got now is mainly the whey. So let's just try and get rid of some of the whey here. So I can fit the rest of the cheese in. So, and let the whey drain for at least 15 minutes. So we're going to keep the whey. So what I'm going to do now is I am going to, do I need this? Yes, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to pick this up. Put this back in here, and that will give us room. See, we've got to keep some of the whey, so I'll keep that. And we're going to leave this to sit for about 15 minutes. So rightio. I'm going to be back in 15 minutes. What's the time? I've still got to make the pizza dough, but that's okay. I've got heaps of time actually. Okay. I'm going to stop puddling that. I'll be back in 15 minutes. Rightio, so I haven't finished setting up my recipe. So some of the stages are missing. What we've got to do is we've got to add the curds back into the Thermomix. I'll show you these. Hang on. Let's do it here so I'm not having to lift it across everything. show you. That's our drained curds, and we want, once drained, put the curds back into the Thermomix bowl and add 1 teaspoon of salt. Righty. Okay, so that's broken in half now. Righty. And we're going to knead that for 2 minutes on the dough mode. Then it says the cheese will, let's do this, 2 minutes. Go mode, we can go dough. And we want 2 minutes. Dough. And I'll be back. Okay. So it's going to be crumbled at this stage. Oh, look, it's a bit creamy. Wonder why that's creamy. Doesn't matter. It says the cheese will still be crumbly in appearance at this stage. Remove the curd, put it into a heat proof. So it normally is still crumbly at this stage. I don't know what I've done. Doesn't matter, does it? Because now what we're going to do is we're going to cook it in the microwave. Now you don't have to do it in the microwave. You can do it in the baroma or on the stove top. And I don't know what the method is because I've never done it any other way except in the microwave. So I'm thinking that I haven't drained this enough. But that's okay because while it's going in the microwave we do end up with a bit more liquid comes out. Rightio. So we're going to heat up in the microwave for 40 to 60 seconds until it starts to melt. So I will be back. So that's 40 seconds. And now we're going to stir it. And now we're going to just beat it all together until it comes back together. And it says we're going to have to do this a few times until we get stringy cheese. So I'll beat that back together and now I'm going to go and give it another go in the microwave. And now we're going to keep doing that and I will come back when we get to the where it starts to form stretchy curds. So what I've done is I've tipped those curds back into the strainer and given them another drain because there just wasn't enough liquid coming out of it. So what we're going to do now is we're going to go back to the knead for 2 minutes. So it says manual setting or mode, so we want mode. We're going to go dough, 2 minutes, and then we'll see what it looks like. Okay, now we'll check to see if they're crumbly. Okay, that looks a whole lot better. So yeah, so even though it said to drain for 15 minutes, if there's still a lot of liquid in them, leave them drain for longer. Okay. So now we're going to take these two the microwave, and we're going to microwave for 40 seconds. So I'll be back. Righto. So that's starting to melt, and see if you can see down there, it's starting to release a bit more liquid. So it will continue to release liquid. And I'll just do that. See that there? And we'll get rid of it as we go. So I'm going to do this. I'll drain that off, and then I'll put this back in the microwave for another 40 seconds. Let's get that out of there. And we'll just do it for another 40 seconds, and then we'll come out and we'll give it another stir. And we want to keep doing that until it's all melted together. Righto. I'll give it a good stir. See, and that's what we're looking for. See that nice stretchy. Righto. Absolutely perfect. Look at that. And see how shiny that is? Oh, let me do that again. See how shiny and stretchy that is? Righto. So we've got to do it with our hands. We've got to knead it with our hands. Don't know if I want to. This is actually quite warm. So I'm going to let it cool down a bit. Or I might just get a glove, is what I might do. And we're going to shape it into a ball. So now you can store it in some of the, you can make it into a ball and then you store it in some of the whey that you've retained. Like you put it in a container with the whey. Oops, I've only got one glove. Righto. You've just got to let it stop being quite so sticky so we can knead it up. Got a bit stuck on our glove. No. let's get this last bit out of here. Don't know why I've got a glove on, I'm touching with my other hand. Okay, so it says just to knead it up into a ball like that. And then we are going to, we kept some of that, that whey. So I'm just going to drop it into that. I'll just grab it. I actually kept all the whey, I haven't got rid of any of it yet. So we're just going to pop it into there until I'm ready to make the pizza later. And then we'll come back and we'll slice some up. Okay, I'll come back when I'm ready to, that'll be cool soon and we'll be able to slice it up. Okay. Alright, we've got a little tiny pizza made. And our cottage cheese. Our mozzarella cheese is not quite so hot. And we're going to chop this up. And put some nice pieces on there. Now we'll have a little taste. That is really good. So, and that is super easy. It takes a while, but it's not all hands-on. I'll take a photo of this, or I'll get a little video of this pizza once it comes out of the oven and it's all melted, and I'll pop it in at this point. Okay. Super hot, just come out of the oven. That's the pizza I made with the mozzarella cheese. Oops, didn't cut that up very evenly. Righto. Might be a bit hot to bite. Very melty in the middle, that cheese. Hang on. Whoops. Oh, oops. So a really nice, that's like this one. Really nice stringy cheese. Yum. So anyway, thanks for watching. I really hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, could you please give it a thumbs up, pop over to my channel and subscribe, and I really hope I'll see you next time.